In this activity, we're going to learn the basics of creating a web page. We want to start with content, and the very first thing you want to think about is the purpose. What is the intent of the web page? Do you want to advertise something? Do you want to promote a message? Do you want to provide information? What is the purpose of the website and the content that you're going to have? This will help you identify what to include. You need to think about the words that are going to be on the web page. What do you want to say, and how do you want to say it? You want to consider the images. Images become an important part of the content of a web page. So you want to decide what kind of images you want to use and actually find those images. You want to decide links. So what is the web page going to link to? So it's going to include information itself, but what else is it going to link to? One thing to note about content is it is non-trivial. This step takes time and effort, and you'll find that as you get to create the content for your upcoming web pages. Let's look at these each individually. If we're going to gather the words, we need to think about what it is we want to say. And we're going to gather those words in an HTML file, and we're going to type them in plain text. Now this is really important, in a different place than you usually write words. You're used to doing in a text editor that is formatted and provides details for you. But because we're building web pages, we're going to be working with plain text. We want to be able to organize our words using headings and put things in the order that we want to display. Headings have a way of identifying what's important and how important they are and what order things should go in. Think of how to display the text. Do you want it in paragraphs, lists, tables, etc.? For each piece, for all the words that you're going to use, you're going to be deciding what they want to be displayed like or in. And then do a spell check. One thing about plain text editors, they don't always offer spell check. So you want to make sure that you're using good quality spelling and grammar. So you might want to copy your words over in a tool that will let you do that spell checking or grammar checking. What about gathering images? You want to be able to find images that will go with the purpose and the message of your web page. Find those images and store them in a folder. Be sure and use simple file names, whether you're downloading them from the internet or gathering them from your camera. Those often come with very complex names. So go ahead and change the names to something very simple with lowercase letters and no special characters. The one exception to that is the underscore. And write a brief description that explains the image to somebody who won't see it. This is one of our basic accessibility tools, is to be able to write text that can replace images for those who are not looking at the images. What about links? Once we decide where we want to link to, we want to be able to gather that complete URL, including the protocol HTTP or HTTPS. You want the complete URL. You also want to decide what is going to show on the web page. What text are you going to use? Make sure those words are informative. You also want to know if you're going to use an image to click on, because you can do that as well. So you can use text or images. And then you want to write a brief description about what's going to happen when a user clicks on that link. To do this, you want to use good tools. And since we're going to be using a plain text, we need a plain text editor. But we want it to have some tools for us that are helpful. One of the things that's really helpful is syntax highlighting. And that becomes a benefit to help us know we're spelling the keywords right. We know when we're using a keyword, and we know when we close our quotes. Lots of valuable things that come from syntax highlighting. We also like tools that give us error message or underline things that are incorrect. And we definitely do not want to use WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get, and that's a tool that writes the code for you. In this course, we're going to learn how to write our own HTML code. Now, to get those tools, I have provided on the week 1 module under other resources a list of plain text editors. These are plain text editors that I've either used or have multiple students have recommended that might work good. So you'll want to download and install one of those and have it ready to go for developing and creating web pages.